Dear learners, welcome to the counseling session of Indira Gandhi National Open University. I am Edwin Moses, academic counselor, joining from IGNOU Study Center 2504, Bishop Heber College, Tiruchirappalli. So this paper, BEGC 131, Individual and Society, right? It focuses more on enhancing your English language skills. And in English language, we say LSRW, right? Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So you have exercises, course materials. In the course material, you have exercises from various domains, from various areas. Okay. Maybe, for example, about culture, about the environment, right? On various domains, on various fields. And you have reading comprehension, speaking practice, listening exercises, and some writing exercises, reading, listening, speaking. For every skill, you have exercises that you have to do religiously, right, in order to improve your English language proficiency. First, I thought let me introduce you to uh, this LSRW: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. What comes what comes first? Can you say? Maybe when you are a child, when you are a baby, what you do mostly? How do you make sense of your environment, your surroundings? Right? Is it listening or speaking or reading or writing? Can anybody answer in the chat box? What do you do? Maybe when you are when you want to observe your surroundings, right? When you think of observing your surroundings and getting information from your surroundings, right? What is that first skill we used as primitive men and women, as a child? Think of that. Maybe spoken and written form came later on, maybe through our evolution process, right? What was the first skill that we acquired, right? It was listening, right? We started listening first. And slowly then we started speaking. Maybe we were just communicating through sign language. If you have observed a baby, it just imitates whatever the parents do, right? It listens, it observes its surroundings. It's so sensitive to the happenings around the baby, right? It observes its surroundings. And then slowly it acquires language. It started speaking, it imitates the father, the mother, and then slowly it acquires language. But sadly, we give more importance to the written part, right? All our examination system, we give more focus for one skill alone, just written skills, and we don't give much importance to the other: listening, speaking, and reading. So, what I want to say is give more importance to all these four skills, right? That will improve your efficiency, your language proficiency, right? You should listen, read, write every day, right? Do you know how many hours students like you in Western countries like UK, USA, France, how many hours do they read? Do you know some facts about it? Just a student like you, okay, an undergraduate student or a postgraduate student, they spend a lot of time for reading. Can you guess how many hours do they read roughly? It's a fact. We don't read most of the time. We study the day before the exam, right? And hardly we read, at least maybe for half an hour or 1 hour a day, right? We don't have the practice of reading. Not even our subjects, but apart from that, can you guess how many hours students like you, okay, in Western countries like UK, USA, France, and other countries. Do you know how many hours they read? Can you guess? Can you make a wild guess? We hardly read for half an hour or 1 hour, but we can learn from how serious they are, how much time they are spending. Can you comment, anybody? Just a guess. Okay, I'll say just it's 5 to 6 hours, right? That's the estimate. 5 to 6 hours. They read minimum for 5 hours every day. Can you imagine? Are we reading like that, right? Are we reading like that? So reading is a habit formation. I've told you that you have to develop the reading habit, right? Reading as a habit formation. Just start reading for half an hour a day. Then slowly you can improve your timings. Maybe it is not possible to concentrate at least even for an half an hour or 1 hour. Maybe slowly for a week you can read for half an hour. Then increase your timing to 1 hour. Okay, 2 hours. Then slowly you will concentrate. You can concentrate. It is possible, right? And I told you, read what you love, right? That is a psychological tip I would like to give. Read what you love first. Maybe one may be interested in sports, read some sports magazines, listen to sports commentaries. If you're interested in music, listen to English songs, right? If you like dance or arts, read the arts section in the newspaper, right? If you are into all those artistic things, okay, music or dance, read those magazines are related to arts and culture, right? Likewise, try to read according to your interests, your hobbies, and that will improve your English language at a drastic rate, because you are not able to forget film songs, right? You can remember the words because you are really interested in that. Likewise, if you read what you love, your ability to speak in English will drastically improve. Within a few months, you can see the change. Try to do that. Very good. Very good, sir. Good to know that. Inspired by you, sir. Even I am trying to do that. Right. So reading is a habit formation. You have to develop that as a habit, right? Otherwise, it's hard to be part of your everyday life, right? Try to make it a part of your daily life. Reading is a habit formation, right? We will move on to some passage reading. If you have the book BEGC, you can take the book. I'll also share the screen. Right. So this block is about the environment, right? Environment is should be a part of our life. It is part of our life. We are part of the environment. We don't realize that most of the time. as we live in concrete, okay, houses, right? We don't have that connect with nature, right? The more we are busy with our technology, gadgets, our lifestyle has, okay, made us maybe distanced us from nature, right? Whatever maybe you get is done by somebody, right? The food you get, right? Everything is done by somebody. And you don't have the direct connect with nature, right? When we were in ancient days, when we were primitive men and women, we used to, okay, go and search for food, okay, for fruits, for vegetables. We go for hunting, and we had a direct connect with nature. We nowadays we have lost the touch with nature. We don't realize that we are part of nature, right? That is very important. That is why you have blocks like the environment, right, stressing the need to be aware of our environment, right, and try to reclaim, right, and protect and conserve our environment, right. And we should realize our place on this mother earth, right, and we should know how important the other beings also, the non-human beings, and at least we can um, uh, we can live without harming the non-human beings, right? Or if possible, try to do at least some in simple acts. Okay, I would say your simple act of kindness will make a lot of difference. Try to contribute to the environment, right, by planting a tree, right? Do these things at least once a month, okay, or in some other way. Even if you avoid using plastics, that will make a big difference if each of you decide to do that, right? Change should come from the individual, right? That is how the paper is titled as individual and society. There is always a link between individual and society. Only if the individual changes, the society will change, and vice versa, right? Both affects each other, right? Do you know how the cows, the stray cows that are roaming on the roads, how they are affected by the plastics, right? They just eat up the plastics. They are so innocent that they don't know what they are eating, right? And many cows have died because of the amount of plastics they have consumed, right? There is a beautiful documentary though it's so terrible and horrible to see that, but how beautifully they have taken that documentary and they have expressed the plight of the pain of cows through that documentary, the plastic cow. Okay, if you just google it and see the plastic cow, okay, you can see the documentary how cows are affected because of the plastics they consume. And there is a separate trust for that, Karuna Society, okay, in near Vrindavan. They used to protect these cows, and they operate and take the plastics out of their body, and it stays there, right, in the stomach without it will not digest, right? Plastic will stay there somewhere in their body, and ultimately it affects the cows, right? See how we are not aware of so many things that we are doing, how it affects the non-human beings, right? We have to be conscious of these things. If you can take the passage, this is a passage on animal rights, and there is an extract from the famous novel The Animal Farm by George Orwell, right? I want one of you to read the passage for reading from George Orwell. So while reading, take note of the words, look up to the dictionary. Okay, if you have a dictionary, please take a dictionary and keep it with you. And we have some exercises to do. I want you to read and do some exercises also, right? And in all the blocks, you have a passage like this. You have to read and answer a few questions, and there are uh, exercises related to this passage also, right? Can one of you volunteer to read? Dilip, Dilip, can you read? Mr. Jones of the Manor Farm. I hope it is visible for everyone, right? Mr. Jones of the Manor Farm. Anybody? Oh, now can you see? Let's. Now is it visible, Dilip? I have zoomed in. I hope it is visible now. Yeah, you can read Mr. Jones of the Manor Farm. It's an extract from the famous novel The Animal Farm by George Orwell. Still not visible. Okay, fine. Is it?
Okay. Yeah, visible.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
visible.
please read.
So passage from, yeah, it's passage for reading from George Orwell, Animal Farm. So Mr. Jones of the Manor Farm had locked the hen house for the night, but was too drunk to remember to shut the portholes. With the ring of the light from his lantern dancing from side to side, he lurched across the yard and made his way up to bed, where Mrs. Jones was already snoring.
Yeah, you can
Uh,
continue.
the second point is, I think you will have to scroll up.
Yeah, yeah. Others, please listen. You have to answer a few questions related to this. Yeah, is it? Okay.
Uh, yeah. As soon as the light in the bedroom went out, there was a stirring and a fluttering all through
Fluttering.
the farm buildings.
Bird had
Word
gone
had
down.
gone around during the day that old Major, the prize middle white boar, had it's not clear, had a
Okay.
strange dream on the previous night and wished to communicate it to the other animals. It had been agreed that they should all meet in the big barn as soon as Mr. Jones was safely out of the way. Old Major was so highly regarded on the farm that everyone was quite ready to lose an hour's sleep in order to hear what he had to say. All the
Mm-mm.
animals were now present except Moses, the tame raven, who slept
On
on
a
a perch
perch.
behind the back door. When Major saw that they had all made themselves comfortable and were waiting attentively, he cleared his throat and began. Comrades, you have heard already about the strange dream that I had last night, but I'll come to the dream later. I have something else to say first. I do not think, comrades, that I shall be with you for many months longer, and before I die, I feel it is my duty to pass on to you such wisdom as I have acquired. I have had a long life. I have had much time for thought as I lay alone in my stall, and I think I may say that I understand the nature of life on this earth as well as any animal now living. It's about this that I wish to speak to you. Now, comrades, what is the nature of life of ours? Let us face it. Our lives are miserable,
Laborious.
laborious, and short. We are born, we are given just so much food as will keep the breath in our bodies. And those of us who are capable of it are forced to work to the last atom of our strength. And the very instant that our usefulness has come to an end, we are slaughtered with
Hideous. Yeah.
hideous cruelty. Yeah. But is this simply part of the order of nature? Is it because this land of ours is so poor that it cannot afford a decent life to those who dwell upon it? No, comrades, a thousand times no. This single farm of ours would support a dozen horses, 20 cows, hundreds of sheep, and all of them living in a comfort and dignity that are now almost beyond our imagining. Why then do we continue in this miserable condition? Because nearly the whole of the produce of our labors is stolen from us by human beings. There, comrades, is the answer to all our problems. It is summed up in a single word: man. Man is the only real enemy we have. Remove man from the scene, and the root cause of hunger and overwork is abolished forever. Man is
Right.
the only creature that consumes without producing. He does not give milk. He does not lay eggs. He is too weak to pull the plow. He cannot run fast enough to catch rabbits. Yet he is lord of all the animals. He sets them to work. He gives back to them the bare minimum that will prevent them from starving, and the rest he keeps for himself. Our labor tills the soil, our dung fertilizes it, and yet there is not one of us that owes more than his bare skin. You cows that I see before me, how many thousands of gallons of milk have you given during this last year? And what has happened to that milk which should have been breeding your sturdy calves? Every drop of it has gone down the throats of our enemy. And you, hen, how many eggs have you laid this last year? And how many of those eggs ever hatched? Uh, I think you've scrolled it up.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, it is not. Maybe someone else can read.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, fine. You can continue. It is not clear.
No, no, no. You have scrolled too much.
Okay, okay.
We have to go back.
Right, you can read the last paragraph. It's fine. And remember, comrades.
And remember, comrades, your resolution must never falter. No argument must lead you astray. Never listen what they tell you that man and the animals have a common interest, that the prosperity of the one is the prosperity of the other. It is all lies. Man serves the interest of no creature except himself. And among us animals, let there be perfect unity, perfect comradeship in the struggle. All men are
All men
enemies.
are enemies,
All
or
men are enemies,
comrades.
and all animals are comrades.
Right. Good reading. Thank you, Mr. Dilip.
Thank you. Thank
Right.
you.
So, note some important words. Okay, some new words from the passage. Try to see the meaning and get to know how it is used in context. Right. You can come across many new words. Pop holes, yard, snoring. Right. What is snoring? Snoring. Right. Who is snoring? Mr. Jones is snoring. Was already
Yeah.
snoring. Right. Dilip, can you say what is snoring?
Snoring is the nasal pattern, what you do when you are
Yeah.
sleeping, when you have a
Right.
blocked nose.
Right. Right. The noise that comes, the action of
Yeah.
making grunting noise, right, while you are
Yeah.
asleep.
Yeah.
That's good. Yard. And so look for words that you don't know and try to find meanings from the dictionary. Right. Every day, have the habit of looking up to at least 10 new words. Okay, and see where it is used in context. In the context, right? In what situation? Because in English, one word has many meanings. So this novel is a famous allegory of Russian Revolution, on the Russian Revolution, and there is a famous line from this novel: "All animals are equal. Some are more equal than the others." Right, and that is how where these characters and actions have a deep moral meaning, and they represent good and bad qualities. Right, so it's a satire, right? A satire. So there are some exercises there, maybe some questions also you can go through and try to answer. How does Major describe all men? How does he describe all animals? Right. I want to give a few tips while attempting your assignments. While writing your assignments, I find most of the students, what they do is they just copy down whatever there is there in the passage. Don't try to copy down the exact line from the passage. You will find answers for all the questions in the passage. Don't try to copy down. So reading comprehension is for you to comprehend, understand, and write. So try to write in your own words. Okay. Take the answer from the passage and put it in your own words and write. That will fetch you more marks. And while reading, reading comprehension is part of every other competitive exam, right? They will test your understanding and how you are able to understand and reproduce it in your own words, right? So in order to save your time, I would say first go to the questions. Just do these techniques of reading, skimming and scanning, right? Go and see the questions, read the questions, and skim and scan the passage, right? You know what is skimming and scanning. So when you scan, you see for specific details from the passage, and scanning, you entirely look at the passage and look for particular information, right? Skimming is you just skim through the uh, entire passage, right? Likewise, you employ all the reading techniques so that you can finish it on time, right? That's very important. So go back to the questions, try to do skimming and scanning, and then attempt your answers. That will save your time and help you to understand the passage quickly, right? So we can see whether we are able to do some vocabulary picking. So picking the odd words. Can anyone respond? What's the odd word here? Example: murder, slaughter, kill, pass away. What's which is the odd word here? Right, three words have some relation to each other. Which is the odd word? Right, murder, slaughter, kill, pass away. Like this: lock, knock, shut, bolt. There are relations to three words, and one word is odd. Right? What is that one word? Can you respond to the chat
Knock.
box? Likewise, yeah, knock. Very good. Number two: stirring, shouting, fluttering, moving. Stirring, fluttering, moving, shouting. So, which is the odd word? Round, stout, fat, obese. Employees, comrades, associates, fellow workers. Miserable, funny, wretched, unhappy. So, what's the second one? Which is the odd word? Maybe this is the odd word. Shouting, right? Third one: round, stout, fat, obese. Stout, fat, obese. Round is the odd. Likewise, employees, comrades, associates, fellow workers. Comrades, associate, fellow workers have similar relation to each other, and employees, the odd word, right? With miserable, funny, wretched, unhappy, funny. And you will have passages like this to fill with appropriate words. Every night you should dash the door,
Shut. Lock the door.
right? Using these words. What's the instruction there? Use the most appropriate words from each set of words given above, right? Every night you should
Lock the door.
lock the door. Fine. Okay. The hens start dash their wings at daybreak,
Fluttering.
fluttering the wings. Good. A wrestler has to be strong, dash he cannot be thin.
And stout.
Stout. Okay. All the dash of that factory are on strike as they
Employees.
have employees.
Employees.
Right. Yes. Usha is feeling the right word according to the context. Dash as she has no money to buy food for her children.
Feeling miserable.
Miserable. That's good. Right. Like, right. Like there are some grammar parts you can work on your own, and maybe we can try one or two exercises. A dozen people fill in the blanks with the correct form of the verbs. Right. Verb, which is the right verb. You can maybe am, is, are. It's given in brackets. We have to put the right form of the verb. What could be the answer? A dozen people dash injured in yesterday's accident. A
Were.
dozen people were. Okay.
Yep.
Dash you busy now.
Are.
Are you busy now? Here, dash going to cinema. I dash going to the cinema tonight.
Am.
I am. And there's many people in India, even now, who cannot
Are.
read and write, are.
I was surprised to meet Raj yesterday evening. Yesterday
Was,
evening. So it's I was. So I think that's the most interesting of Chetan Bhagat's novels,
is,
right? This is okay. This is the most interesting of Chetan Bhagat's novels, right? So your sound and grammar. Fill in the blanks with have or has. The present tense forms are have and as. So have is used in the plural, I and you, and has is used in the third person singular. Right? My friend Sunil has dark hair and I have balco, a bad cold. Can you try here? Maybe
have,
have have
have they
they
got a,
got a school in the village? Right. Now you does learn the secret
have,
of happiness. Have right.
have,
Does he arrived already?
has,
Has he arrived already? I sometimes
have,
have my breakfast right at a
has,
restaurant. The teacher
the teacher
has
has advised.
advised. Yeah, that's good. Right. You can try this also maybe later. Do this exercise simple. Maybe you just have to choose whether have or has. Right. And there are many recordings you can listen to on YouTube, and you can try to listen and try answering. Okay, some of the questions, and maybe you can listen to various new passages online, right? And there will be dialogue writing and writing um, some conversations, right? Dialogue writing and letter writing, and you will be given some hints, and you will be asked to develop, right? Likewise, there are various forms of exercises to test you to improve your language proficiency. I just we will move on to another block. We'll choose one passage from another block, and with that we will wind up. You will choose communicating across cultures. Right. If you have any questions regarding assignments, you can put in the chat box. Meanwhile, I'll just Rukmani Devi Arundali. She's a famous art personality, a dancer, Bharatanatyam. You can read about her. It's interesting to read about her, and her contribution to dance is enormous. And you can read about Rukmani Devi Arundal. Okay, she has started a great institution for dance and music, Kala Kshetra in Chennai. Right. So read about her and the passage. It's all related to culture. Communicating across cultures, right? And it's very important in business setting too, right? So culture in business communication and the impact of culture on business functions such as greetings, introductions, and we were discussing maybe for the other group I was discussing about the cultural understanding that we should gain. Okay, intercultural communication, understanding culture, the need for understanding culture, how essential it is to work in a diverse setup, right? If you are working in a multinational company, it is important that you should be sensitive, be aware of all the cultural differences because people from various countries and states are working in a company, right? So there are some activities, passages, two famous quotes. No culture can live if it attempts to be exclusive, right? If it accommodates every other culture, it is widening. It is widening of the mind and spirit, right? Nehru says that culture is the widening of the mind and spirit, right? English has this ability to acquire words from so many cultures, right? Now we have varieties of English. We have Indian English, right? Words like chutney, puja, right? They have all become, right, English. It is part of English vocabulary, right? But see how English has adapted. It's flexible. So that is why English has grown. Till date, we are able to see the enormous growth in English language because of its flexibility, right? In getting words from many sources, right? Many French words are there, right? German words are there, and we have lately after we have this Indian words that's added to the vocabulary, and even there are Tamil words added to the vocabulary, Hindi words from Hindi. So many words are there like that. The word Anna, even Anna is added to the vocabulary recently. So you can read and try to answer these questions. It's about culture. To be able to communicate across culture is important to know and understand the cultural background. Maybe if someone is there, champion, can you read this to be able to communicate across cultures? Just that passage alone.
Ah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
To be able to communicate across cultures, it is important to know and understand the cultural background of the person you need to communicate with. Intercultural communication principles guide the process of exchanging meaningful information across cultural boundaries in a way that preserves mutual respect and minimizes ill feeling or misunderstanding. Globalization has brought the world closer together and helped to reduce cultural diversity. Yet, globalization also makes it necessary for us to study and understand cultures that are different from ours. In a country like India, which has 18 major languages, over 200 dialects, 4 major religions, 29 states, and 7 union territories, weather ranging from 35 degrees Celsius to plus 45 degrees Celsius, there is an unusual diversity of culture which impacts the way we express ourselves and reach out to people who are different from us in many ways. To begin with, one needs to And yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah, continue. Just
To begin with, one needs to understand what constitutes culture. Culture is a complex concept with many different definitions. Hofstede has called it collective mental programming or software of the mind. Culture is not just about our food, clothing, and behavior. It has a great deal to do with beliefs, attitudes, and values. It is about those aspects of us which are outwardly visible, such as food, language, clothing, and behavior. But it is also about those aspects of us which are not outwardly visible, such as attitudes, values, and perceptions. Various models have been used to illustrate this concept. It is often likened to an iceberg where only the tangible aspects of our culture are above the surface of water. In fact, what is seen outwardly is a result of what we are and what we believe in.
okay. Stop
But,
there. Thank you.
okay,
Good read.
uh,
Right, you have questions like that. You can try to answer. Right, is a passage about culture and how globalization has brought the world close together. Right, and helped to reduce the cultural diversity. But still, India has its unique variety of cultures. Right, it's a complex concept with many different definitions. It is not just about food, clothing, and behavior, but it has to great deal with our beliefs, our attitudes, our values, right? And outwardly, it is visible, right? Food, language, and clothing, and behavior, and such aspects. But attitudes, values, and perceptions, it is not visible, right? It is not easily understood. That is why you should observe the cues, the body language, the uh, person, what they believe in. It is quite difficult to understand immediately, right? To make sense of it and act accordingly, right? Culture refers to a group of community, and we share common experiences, right? There develops a culture, right? When we share common interests, right? As a community, as a group, that is how cultures are formed, right? We have common interests, we share common attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs. That is how cultures are formed. It is born into such a gender, race, religion, or national origin, right? So we can acquire a new culture by moving to a new region. It is possible because English, we have adapted English language and culture, right? And that is why Macaulay said, I will create a class of Indians who are Indian in color, British in taste, attitudes, beliefs, but just Indian in color. You are just Indian in color, but the wear dress we wear, the pant, okay, the dress, the coat, the tie, the food, okay, pizza and other fast foods. All these things we have adapted part of Indian English culture, right? And of course, we are a multicultural society. I would say multicultural, right? A mixing of many cultures, right? We have adapted English culture as well as our own native cultures, right? We have any culture, any Indian culture for that matter, right? We have adapted many native cultures, right? According to where you are from. So try to answer these questions, work on it. And there are some pictures, right, at the top. Can you say what it is? Look at these pictures. What comes to your mind about cultural diversity and richness? Make a list of these and try to compare with what you have learned about culture after you have completed the study of this unit. Maybe you can just try to attempt one or two lines or one word, something. What is the first picture? The three girls, what they're doing. Hmm? Just answer whatever you think.
Welcoming.
Welcoming. Okay. In the
greet,
in the regional context, if you think of Tamil Nadu, it's a vanakkam, right? Tamil vanakkam, we say it's a greeting, okay, or a gesture
greeting.
or a welcome sign, right? Different ways according to cultural context you can interpret. The second woman, who is she?
Japanese.
Japanese.
Japanese or Chinese, maybe, right? A Chinese traditional woman, not a Chinese modern woman, but a Chinese traditional women, right? And here it is obvious, right? Is a
Yeah.
Muslim woman, right?
Awesome.
And maybe you can interpret the girl with the flower, friends, or whatever it may be. Okay. Likewise, right. And likewise, you have exercises, pictures, reading comprehension, listening, speaking. For all the skills, you have some exercises, and try to do those. And you have some links for videos and other things. Also, you can try to play that. Okay, and try to improve your vocabulary, your listening, speaking, reading, and writing abilities. Right. Okay. I think with this, I can end the class. If you have any questions, comments, you can share in the chat box. If you have anything to share, if you have any other questions, please comment in the chat box, or you can talk to me. So the more you do these exercises, the more you will learn. Okay. Hope it was useful. The session was useful. I'm not able to do much because of the nature of the content and the shortage of time. I was able to just give you some samples of these exercises. I hope you got some idea how to go about it.
Yes, sir.
Right. Anything you would like to ask?
No questions, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, Edwin Hurdler, right? Edwin Moses. Thank you. Yes. Not exactly, but not not a kind of inspiration. Actually, my grandfather's name is Edwin, and Moses is a name, a famous name in the Bible. So they joined it together. So ultimately, it was Edwin Moses, and that's how the name came.
Okay.
It's a combination of a religious name and Moses, as well as Edwin is my grandfather's name. That's how they named me. But I was not much. Maybe later on, I came to know that Edwin Moses is the great Olympian hurdler.
Hurdler. Yeah.
Okay, good to meet you all.
Thank you. Thank you
Right,
very
thank
much.
you. Thank you for listening. We'll end the meeting.